Graham, just days now till the start of the season. How ready do you think your side are physically, mentally, tactically?
As much as we can be at this stage. It's I think especially coming in at the start of pre-season as a new manager. You've had no sort of input on what they've done previous. At the end of last season and obviously in the off season. So starting afresh from pre-season. So we've done as much as we possibly could physically, tactically, and mentally to prepare them for the first game. So, but the work will be ongoing. I've made it clear to the players that we go through pre-season and it just doesn't suddenly stop, and we just prepare for games. We have to continue to improve, and there is improvement to be made on all of those fronts. But I've been sort of pleased with the progress that the individuals have made.
Did you feel 100% the players are bought into your philosophy and what you want to do going forward?
I believe so. I think there's a need for change. That's the reality. I don't want to go over the last season or even last 3 or 4 seasons because apart from one outlier, it's not been great. So doing the same things and expecting things to change, that's just madness. So we have come in with our own ideas, but to change, not just as much as we can, but change things that we see fit. But we've learnt about these things over the last 5 weeks. They weren't apparent right at the start. So as we've got further into pre-season, we've seen things actually, and then we've got to games and oh no, that's not quite right. We have to change that. So the learning process we've gone through over the last 5 weeks has been vast and really important for us. But you do learn as you go along as a coach. So when we get to the first game, we'll learn a little bit more. The first competitive game, then the midweek game, and how we recover in between, and who's ready to go again. So all the time we're learning about the processes that have been in place, and we know we've got good people here, but we all have to be doing the same thing. And until you get down to the work, you don't know exactly what needs changing and what is working well. So look, the reality is we have to convince people as well that I don't think they need convincing that change needs to be made, because I think that's quite obvious from previous results. But you have to convince them in the new way will work, and that is a time-led process. It doesn't happen with one conversation, one meeting. It happens over time, and you earn trust and give people belief and belief in the process of winning, because that's what we're here to do. It's not to continue anything, but get results. And we have to get results.
Well, I guess the introduction of new players adds to that process, doesn't it? Because they're coming in, they've got no reference of what's happened in the past. No. They just want to impress and do things well going forward.
Yeah, 100%. It's a and look, you can be part of a team that doesn't win and then change your mentality and change your process and become a winner. So it's not just about bringing new players in thinking everyone's a loser, these are winners. That's not the case. But we give everyone the opportunity to turn themselves into a winner, and that's what we're trying to do. If people want to choose not to be a winner, then that's fine, but it won't be at this club. That's quite simple to sort of put forward. But if they want to become winners and they want to make the best of themselves, then I believe this is an environment that they'll thrive in, and that's the reality. But we have brought in really good players with good mentality, good physicality, good technique, good experience. We probably need a couple more.
On that, any kind of concerns about the maybe lack of depth in the forward department at the club?
I wouldn't say just there, to be honest. I think when I look at our potential starting team, 11, 12 players, I think we're as competitive as anyone in this division. But after that, then it's unproven. It's good potential. It's good young players, but we don't know where they are in terms of league terms until we get into it. So just for that competition side of it and raising levels and raising standards, because you do need competition. The best professionals in the world will handle themselves in the right way and want to win, but I still think that edge of competition is really vital for any squad and any team. And are we a little bit light on that? I believe so. But that's not to say that we've got good young players at this club that are fighting to be in the team, as you've seen in last week's game and in other pre-season games that we've played. So, but yeah, I know where we need to improve. It's not just in one particular department. I think it's all over the team.
This is the question that I only ask at this point in the season, but what is the aim? Promotion by any route?
Our aim is to turn us what we have been into what we need to be. That's my ambition. That is my ambition. We've been one type of team. I know what we need to be successful. So that's my ambition, to do that. If we don't manage to do that as a club, then it's waste time talking about targets and ambitions. That's the process we have to go. So it's still ongoing. It'll be ongoing for a considerable amount of time, but in that time we have to win games, and that's the reality. So I never lose focus of what's right in front of me. What is the next step? And the next step is Wrexham away on Saturday. But it's really important that we don't just think this one game is everything. It's not. We have to win this game. We have to try and win this game, but we have to go with what this whole environment, this whole group has to become. And I believe we have the ingredients to do that, but there's a lot of work and a lot of hard work and a lot of pain, either physical or mental, to go through to achieve that.
And just finally from me, Wrexham have obviously captured the imagination of a lot of people in the football world, and I guess the job of you and your team is just to kind of drown out the noise and spoil the party to a certain extent.
We have to create our own noise. That's the reality. I don't want us to compare ourselves to anyone else in particular. I think we have to overcome every opponent we play. Look, I think it's been great for football. And you see the investment that's coming in into professional football from sources that no one's ever even thought of. And it's big business. It always has been a business, and it's always been. But I think none so more than now. Certainly on the profile side of it, and I think there's a lot to be gained from that. But we also have to protect what's important, and I believe in people. I believe in the quality of people is the key to success. So I've been there at a club which got a high profile and the spotlight's on, and you have to try and thrive under it, because it can be very the expectation levels can be very high, but they've managed that over the last couple of years. They've created an excitement about them and the division they play in. Now they're coming into this division, and I think the spotlight is good. I think there will be, it's not just Wrexham versus MK Dons on Saturday, and just the people that are involved in those two clubs. I think there'll be a worldwide audience. So that's the thing for us as a club and our players and our supporters that are travelling in their numbers, to go there and show that we're a competitor, and that's what we have to try and do.
You mentioned it there, the added pressure that you perhaps had at Salford because of the backing and because of the spotlight that was put on you. Yeah. Does that sometimes have a negative effect, do you think, on the rest of the division, in the sense that everybody then sees, say Salford or sees Wrexham as the team to go out and beat, and then sometimes piles more pressure on the shoulders?
That was my experience at Salford when I first took over, and I think the first game that we actually lost, it was like, the other team had won the whole league. It was, and I was like, right, okay, and it opened my eyes up to, right, okay, this is what it's going to be. And then the very next game was the exact same, and it was like, right, okay, we have to take on board what this is. But a lot of the players we had there were used to that from the season before. That they were the big bad wolf, and you have to overcome that. But they have done that last season in achieving what they did. And that will stay with them all the way through. I'd expect if you dropped them in the Premier League right now, I think the expectation would be through the roof. That's what they've created there, and they've created an expectancy and a mentality and a mindset, and that's what we have to do here. So there's lots to learn from that, and look, the finance and the money is a part of it, but it's only a part of it. There's clubs all over the world that have spent loads of money and not created success. It's about your process, the people. It's about the people you have in place and their characters and their personalities and their will to win and their decision-making process. That's what wins football matches. So they've done that particularly well over the last 2 years. We have to bring that to this club and go forward, and I believe we have the people to do that.
I believe, a lot of clubs will be looking at MK Dons as well when almost in a similar light, thinking, they're coming to a place with a 30,000 seater stadium and thinking this is the scout that they want, and that's something that you guys are probably going to have to come to terms with as well.
Yeah, but why are they thinking that? For the stadium? I've never seen like a floodlight score a goal or a scoreboard keep a clean sheet. That's reality. That's the reality. This stadium is not going to win us a point this season. Nothing. It's about what we do in it. It's like the gym. The gym doesn't make you strong. It's what you do in it. That's the reality we have to understand. And it is a lovely venue and arena to play football in, but you still have to run and tackle and compete and pass and leave your lungs out on the pitch. These are the things that we have to focus on, and not go out and go, we've got a lovely stadium, we're going to win today. Wow, what a mad thought that is. It is, but it does. I do think it's, coming here as an away player or as an away coach or away supporters, you go, this is great, but we've got to understand it's not going to win us a point. It's what we do Monday to Friday, training, how we sleep, how we eat, how we prepare for the next session, how we prepare for the game mentally, physically, and then actually doing it rather than saying it. And that's where we have to be.
In terms of recruitment, wouldn't be a press conference without talking about the recruitment process.
Yeah.
How's it all coming along? Are you expecting anybody imminently or before the start of the season?
That's going to be tight considering it's 2 days from now. But look, we are working. We're working exceptionally hard. We're in a really tough market at the moment, and it's we've got really strong competitors at this level to bring in players, and there's a small group of players that will improve us because that's what we're looking to do. But yeah, it's ongoing, and it will go all the way right to the wire. If we could get somebody in by 12 o'clock today, we'd do it if it was the right person. If we have to be patient and work diligently, which we are doing, then we'll do that. But we're on the same page. We know we have to help these players become the team that we can become. So there's no. The only time limit on it is the end of the window. That's the reality. So any signings we make could be at any time.
What's your take on the loan window? Some managers like it, some managers don't particularly want to delve into it. And I suppose at this time with top flight sides still out on tour and sort of working out what they're going to be doing, it's a time process again, isn't it?
It is, and I think it can be a valuable market for a club. My ideal is players that we that belong to us and are invested in our future. So when the tough times happen, they know, well, if the tough time happens to this club, that's me. And that's the reality. So we have to try and get players that are invested in MK Dons and their futures are invested in MK Dons. But also, I know from my past in the last 10 years that I've signed some brilliant loan players who have helped us win promotion and stuff like that. So, but for me, loan player, our own player, young player, old player, it's about their character, their personality, and what they're going to bring. And you don't have to particularly belong to a club to invest everything you've got in it. So that, and you don't. It doesn't automatically work the other way. That because you sign to a club, you're fully committed. You know what I mean? So we have to work hard to work out these personalities, these characters, these attributes that these players have got, and try and bring them to our club. But I know the club has had good success with loan players in the past, but on the same page, there'll be ones that didn't work out, and that's pretty much the same with all recruitment. But every market that we can sign a player from, we are trying to work in.
And just finally, I believe we're going to be speaking to MJ Williams next. How's he fit in, and how impressed have you been with him so far?
Brilliant. I think breath of fresh air. You know, he's at it every single day. Wants to win. You know, as do other players. But you know, if we're just talking about MJ, you know, he's exactly what we thought we were signing, because you know, you see a player from afar and you see their abilities on the pitch. You know, when you play against them or when you watch videos and you talk to people, but until they're in your building and on your pitch and you're demanding this, asking for that, convincing them of this, and they're committing to it, that's when you really know the individual. And there's still a bit to learn because we haven't seen him in competitive games yet, but what I've seen so far is top notch and exactly what we need, and hopefully we need more.
Graham, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about some of the younger players at the club who've come through. I know for a lot of Dons fans, they'll find it really exciting to see players coming through the academy. How pleasing was that for you? Joel Anker, I thought, played really well on Saturday.
Yeah, it's you know, as I said after the game, when I see a player, I look at their attributes. I don't look at their history. I look at what they're doing right here, right now, because that's where we're trying to win games. Listen, you do earn a reputation for, you know, over your career. But every single player has started where Joel did last week, where you're unknown, someone's given you a chance, and you've earned that chance. You know, I didn't just pick him out of a hat and give him it. It was through training, through what he's done, and I had every confidence that his personality would go from the training pitch onto the main pitch when we played a game, and that's the biggest thing in elite sport, in professional sport, is taking what you do in training into the arena and under pressure. And I know it was a pre-season friendly, but you're going up against a team that's just won promotion, and Joel's just come out of the youth team, and I thought he was superb in everything he did. Still bits to improve, but that's every player at every level. But I couldn't have asked for any more from him coming in and starting that game. So there's other guys that are training with us at the minute, Callum Tripp, Phoenix Schultz, that have really stood out. You know, we had a look at them early in pre-season, and they've been with us every day. They've been with us to Germany because they're showing that they're motivated, they're fit, they can play football, they want to win. So what else do I need to see? You know, that's the reality. And we have to keep that mentality in all our young players, in all our 20-year-old players, in all our 30-year-old players. You know, that has to be our club throughout the levels. Those aspects that need to run through every section. So if a player represents that, he's going to play.
Absolutely. And just finally, to bring it back to Wrexham, I think that the game was sold out a couple of weeks in advance. I'm not even sure tickets made it to general sale. Obviously, there's a lot of eyes on the game, but it's a great endorsement of League Two football.
Yeah, look, I think everyone outside of England looks at the pyramid in England and astounded at the levels of competition, the levels of support for all the clubs. You know, it's nowhere in the world compares with the English pyramid system and how competitive it is, how teams can go from non-league to the Premier League and vice versa. You know what I mean? It's in a short space of time that it's impossible to see where that happens in the world. So it's brilliant to be a part of it. It's brilliant to know that we're at a moment, you know, where we don't want to be where we are. But you know, I was speaking to Mark Robbins after the commentary game about, because I remember when he took over there, because they got relegated against my team at Scunthorpe 6 years ago. Big club dropping into League Two, and now look what they've become and achieved and been so close to. So you know, that's what I see in English football. Is everything is possible, but you have to do a lot of things right and have the right focus and discipline. But yeah, it's great to be a part of this. I think we need to showcase what we're about. It's brilliant that we've sold out our away allocation. I think it's fantastic because and we don't want to let them down. They're coming there to see their team. I know there's a little bit trying to see Ryan Reynolds and that, you know, because everyone's talking about that. I understand that. It's you know, I get that, but I know our supporters will be there to help us win. So we need to show them that we are trying to do things in the right way, that we want to represent them in the best way, and we're going to give it everything we can. Not just that game, every single game, every time we put on an MK Dons shirt, that we're going to represent them in the best way possible.